Hello, this is your research scholar, Chanda Burrage. In this lesson, I will share with you 4 types of knowledge and discuss the importance of scientific research. I tell you, we humans know how to accumulate a lot of knowledge. We absorb so much information in so many different forms each day. So when I wake up in the morning after a period of meditation and stretching on a good morning, I typically turn on the local news or I read a few articles from New York Times or other. I have several favorite news sources, but I read those every morning. And then while doing that, in this smartphone era, I also tend to get distracted by emails and social media posts that are just bombarding me with so much information each morning. In addition, if I'm driving, taking the train, or walking to work, I'm also bombarded with advertisements everywhere, often informing me of a product that a company wants me to purchase and consume. So when it comes to knowledge, it is very important to distinguish accurate information from misinformation, which may come from different types of knowledge sources. And we'll talk about those later on. But right now, I really want to focus on the 4 types of knowledge. But while we're looking at those 4 types of knowledge, it's very important that we ask, how reliable is this information? And is the source of information to be trusted? So let's talk about 4 forms of knowledge, some of which may be reliable and some are not to be trusted at all. So first, traditional knowledge is a non-scientific form of knowledge that we inherit from the culture we grew up in. So many of us have gained knowledge around, for example, recipes, how to treat an illness, how much to tip a wait staff at a restaurant, and very important dance moves that one must know, like the basic 2-step or the electric slide. And we all have our dance moves, and every culture has their moves, and we learn those, that are passed on from generation to generation. So that's cultural knowledge. The second form of knowledge is knowledge that comes from an authority figure. This is knowledge that we believe to be true because its source may be our parents, teachers, or other professional figures. You might depend on an authoritative knowledge source when you believe your doctor's diagnosis of your ear infection and take the antibiotics she prescribed. This is probably a better move than taking the advice from a random blogger who suggests you place garlic oil in your ear canal. But hey, I'm not knocking it, but I might not trust the antibiotics. I might trust the antibiotics far more than garlic oil in my ear, but we can discuss why later. Third, experiential knowledge comes from pleasant and unpleasant experiences. For example, a child learns that it is dangerous to touch a hot stove with bare hands, sometimes, unfortunately, from a bad, painful experience. As we develop, we also gain skills that through specific formal educational and work-related experiences like teaching or playing the piano. So fourth and final, science is a form of knowledge that involves rigor, reality, and an analytical framework. Science is not just what happens in a laboratory with chemicals and reagents. We use scientific principles in the social sciences like political science and geography as well, which can be incredibly rigorous. So rigor refers to a systematic approach that follows a specific methodology and set of rules. Reality is what we're trying to get to. It's what science seeks to build knowledge towards. In other words, we use science to understand our reality in the world. And the framework may be thought of as a conceptual structure used to help with analysis and forming conclusions. So why bother with scientific research? I know from personal experience following cows in East Africa that conducting research can be fun when you're in charge of your own work or study. So I was able to design a protocol, a proposal to do research in Ethiopia and Djibouti following cows and examining vulnerability of livelihoods in that particular area. And that was super fun. I had control over the whole study and I collected the data and wrote it up. But knowing how to do research will open many doors for you in your career, giving you an extra skill to post on your LinkedIn page or also share during job interviews. To add, it will also open your mind to new ideas on what you might pursue in the future. And it should be noted that understanding research will also make you an educated consumer. As an informed consumer, you are able to evaluate the information related to a specific product and determine what to accept and what to reject. So let's imagine that you're at a supermarket trying to choose between the many types of apples. So some apples are marked conventional and others are marked organic. There are also different types of apples that come in varying colors, and some are grown in different locations, and they have different prices. So in this situation, you have done some research on the harms of pesticides used to grow conventional apples. So you are well aware of the dangers of conventional products. It's also because of research that you are aware of what happens to the fruit when it's transported from thousands of miles away. And also what happens to our environment when it's transported thousands of miles away. So combining this knowledge allows you to decide what types of apples are the best for your health, your budget, and the environment. So this is a simple example that can be applied to a myriad of real-world examples. So in sum, while we might mess around with various forms of knowledge all day, every day, these forms either separated or combined can be conceptualized in ways that help us improve the world around us. So moving forward, I will concentrate our lessons on scientific approaches to knowledge. Such knowledge comes with a methodology that allows us to test and replicate the findings and helps build trust in research. So even if the garlic and the eardrum strategy is eventually scientifically proven valid, it's good to know that such validation will come with a peer-reviewed record describing exactly how and why garlic in the ear works. I'll see you in future lessons where we go deeper into the elements of scientific research.